For our meditation today, as with last week, I invite you to imagine that you are walking. Maybe you are walking our labyrinth. Maybe you are walking on a beach. Maybe you are walking in the woods. Maybe you are walking in North Beacon Hill or downtown Seattle. Maybe you are pacing in your own house or backyard. Maybe you are pacing only in your mind. Imagine that you are on a walk. It is dark in a way that is unsettling. Remember a time when you couldn't feel inner peace. Bring that time, bring that feeling with you on this walk. How did your neck feel? Your shoulders, your back, your stomach, your mind, your muscles, the big ones, the little ones, your breath, your heartbeat. A time when you could not find inner peace. Bring it with you as you walk. Suddenly, as you are walking, you hear breathing, gentle breathing. It lets you know that you are not alone. Unlike last week when we lit a lantern, the darkness remains, but the breathing of this other person gives you comfort. Even in the darkness, you are not alone. You begin to feel something of peace. The peace deepens as something inside you tells you you are journeying with Elizabeth, the mother of John the Baptist. Elizabeth was well beyond childbearing years and without children. She lived in a society where a woman's value and well-being were entirely reliant upon having children, particularly on having male children. Where her partner Zechariah was unable to see hope in the words of an angel, Elizabeth found instant peace. "This is what the Liberator has done for me," she said. As you walk in the darkness, hearing her breath, you hear those words echo. "This is what the Liberator has done for me." Elizabeth continues to walk with you. She lived in exclusion, and that exclusion left her soul ready and waiting to receive the gift of peace. And when at last a place was made for her at God's welcoming table, she breathed peace. "This is what the Liberator has done for me." And now you feel yourself journeying with that same breath of peace. As we engage the inward journey this Advent, Elizabeth reminds us to ask, what is our posture toward peace? What is our posture towards exclusion? How do you hold the spaces where you have been excluded? Do you avoid thinking about them? Do you allow them to bring anger to a boil? Do you minimize them? Do you allow yourself to feel those spaces and invite the Spirit of hope to speak peace there? "This is what the Liberator has done for me." What is your posture toward the places where you have excluded others? Do you avoid thinking about them? Do you allow them to bring shame to a boil? Do you minimize them? Do you allow yourself to feel sacred regret that cradles space for the hope that you might live a different future and there find peace? This is what the liberator is inviting me to do. Elizabeth was excluded for not bearing male sons. The world has changed, and we remember her with respect and inclusion every single year. We remember her with respect and inclusion every single year. Where is our ancestor in faithfulness, Elizabeth, calling you to journey this Advent? As you continue walking in the silent dark with our ancestor Elizabeth, you hear another cadence of breathing, another ancestor following you, walking with you, holding your hand and your heart. You feel peace as you sense that this is Melania the Elder. Inspired by the Desert Fathers, Melania the Elder of Spain in the 4th century CE used her wealth to fund their work and then engaged in her own work. At 60 years old, she journeyed across Rome promoting a peace-oriented, simple way of life. She predicted the end of the decadent life of the Roman Empire, and with Rome in the past, her vision of simple living and inward peace that extends outward lives on to this day, to this moment, as we sit and contemplate, as we journey in the dark and quiet with Melania, our ancestor. As we engage the inward journey this Advent, what is your posture towards the decadence of empire? What is your posture toward peace and simplicity? Where is our ancestor in faithfulness, Melania, calling you to journey this Advent? You continue journeying, walking in the dark and quiet with your sisters Elizabeth and Melania right beside you, giving peace to what was a restless soul. Feel the peace increase as you journey with Elizabeth and Melania. Finally, you sense a third presence. You hear a third cadence of breath. And something in your soul releases as you sense that this is Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez is famous for uniting farm workers to successfully demand better treatment. He fought valiantly against the abuses of empire for the liberation of workers. He was a deeply spiritual man and committed to nonviolence as embodied by Christ. He said, "Never, never is it possible to reach someone if you become angry or bitter. Only love and gentleness can do that." As you journey with Cesar Chavez in the dark and the quiet, breathe deeply and wonder. What is your posture toward the people that are locked up in systems of oppression? Not what is your posture toward the system, but toward the people captive to empire. What is your posture toward the oppressed? What is your posture toward the oppressor? Cesar Chavez said, "There is no such thing as defeat in nonviolence." How might your inward journey this Advent create space for victorious peace? How is our ancestor in faithfulness, Cesar Chavez, calling you to journey this Advent? You walk a little longer with your 3 ancestors in faithfulness journeying with you, and you come to a place where you find 4 lanterns. They are lanterns of peace. You light one lantern to remind you of Elizabeth, who felt her exclusion in a way that made her soul ready soil for peace. We remember Elizabeth and tend to the scars of exclusion that have been made in our hearts so that we might participate in the peace of healing. As you light a lantern for peace in your mind, considering Elizabeth, intentionally release the stress you have carried in your head, in your neck, in your shoulders. Feel your shoulders settling down, restfully toward the ground, and allow your hands to drop. You light a second lantern, a lantern to remind you of Melania the Elder, who gave up the abusive and unsustainable decadence of empire to live with the peace of simplicity. We remember Melania the Elder and seek a simple life that leads to peace for the whole family of creation. As in your mind you light a lantern of peace to remember Melania the Elder, release the stress or tension that have built up in your heart and in your stomach. Feel them slowing and finding peace and rest as your breathing also rests in sacred peace beyond human understanding. We light a third lantern, a lantern to remind us of Cesar Chavez, who kindled the light of love amid the raging winds of abuse. We remember Cesar Chavez and wage peace toward all people in our hearts. As in your mind you light that third candle, I invite you to release any remaining stress and tension in your body. As your body feels the warm calm of peace, allow your body to instruct your imagination how to dream of God's kingdom of peace. And so we come to the fourth lantern. This lantern is just for you. Listen deeply, deeply, deeply. What word or phrase of peace is Spirit speaking to you in this wonderful inward place, journeying with our ancestors? Breathe that word deeply through 3 deep breaths as we prepare to leave this sacred space for the next one that awaits us.